And we could be nearing the final days of testimony in the Charleston church shooting case. Today, more experts testified in the federal death penalty trial against the shooter who admitted to killing 9 people inside Mother Emanuel last June. News 2's Carolyn Murray was in court today as each person took the stand. And Carolyn, this is day 5 of emotional testimony.
It most certainly was, Brendan, and once again the government is continuing to paint a picture of a man who was determined to commit murder. Of course, cameras are not allowed in a federal courtroom, so I can tell you some of what happened today and some of what we saw on the witness stand. A fugitive task force investigator described the hours after the shooting at Emanuel AME Church, June 17, 2015. The investigator said when he arrived at the home of Amy Roof, Dylann Roof's mother, and her boyfriend, Danny Beard, that Danny Beard told investigators, he's not here, referring to Dylann Roof. Amy Roof then told investigators that there was something that they needed to see. She then took them to the bedroom that Dylann Roof used at their home, and she showed them a camera that contained thousands of images of her son, the admitted Charleston church shooter. It showed Dylann Roof with the Confederate flag, stomping the American flag. It also showed Dylann Roof holding the gun that investigators say was used in the church shooting. News 2's Ashley Yost was in the courthouse all day, and Ashley, just a few minutes ago, very compelling video of Dylann Roof practicing. You were in the courtroom when they showed that video, something that we can't show viewers right now, but certainly something that left that courtroom quiet.
Carolyn, as soon as I left here live on News 2 at 5 o'clock, went back into the courtroom, and that's when they were playing these videos. They're videos that Dylann Roof recorded of himself. He set the camera down, recorded himself firing the murder weapon multiple times, and the room was silent as these videos played, as we listened to the echoing pops from that gun. One of the camera angles shows Roof firing the gun pointed away from the camera, shooting at a tree. When he fired, he had both hands on the gun. The most chilling video was one where Roof put the camera directly in front of him, facing the camera head on. We watched Roof point the gun directly at the camera, and with one hand, loosely gripping the gun, he fired it into the distance multiple times. At times, the red light from the gun interfering with the camera. He then grabs some kind of book, throws it into the air, and fires as it falls to the ground. And on the stand today, they also showed maps from Roof's GPS, showing he came to Charleston multiple times before the incident, 6 months before, and then again 3 weeks before the June 17th shooting, when it was no longer practice in his backyard. And when the government showed these videos, it was the lead FBI agent, Joseph Hamsky, on the stand. And throughout the day, Agent Hamsky took us through a myriad of pictures, documents, images, Carolyn, not only showing that he did in fact commit this crime, but that he had planned it months in advance.
Not a whole lot from the defense today. In fact, I believe the defense only cross-examined one witness, and it was one quick question, but not a whole lot of objections from the defense either.
They did question Agent Hamsky at the very end of the day as well, but you're right, not many questions. And yet again, they asked about the pictures on Roof's camera, showing a bunch of pictures of his cat. Again, based on discussions I've had with other defense lawyers, my guess to that is that they're trying to humanize him, showing him taking pictures of an animal before this next sentencing phase.
We also know, and we heard today, that the defense might call as many as 11 witnesses. They said that they were anticipating calling witnesses on Thursday, but said today, defense attorney David Bruck, that he may call witnesses tomorrow. So, of course, we will see if, in fact, that happens. But, of course, we've heard from Felicia Sanders, very emotional, compelling testimony from one of the survivors of the shooting at Emanuel AME Church. In the courtroom, she sits just a few inches away from Polly Shepard. It's expected that Ms. Shepard might take this stand within the next few days. When she does, we will bring her testimony.